So, what is Amazon and how to make money from Amazon? So, I've been doing Amazon for coming up to around about 3 years now, so a pretty long time. I've had some highs, I've had some lows. I also want this video to be as believable as possible. That's why I haven't got all the edits and stuff like that, and also because I'm a little bit lazy with it, to be honest. I kind of like to just engage with my sort of audience, just like this, just on a camera. Got a tiny little mic here, which looks pretty funny, like a mini mic, which I'm going to clip onto myself, but it sort of rubs against and makes noises. But wanted to talk about my journey in this. What is Amazon, how you can make money from Amazon, because just coming up to 3 years ago, I had no clue what it was. I remember when I first logged into Amazon and it looked like some sort of spaceship console, and I was like, how the hell do I work this thing? But anyway, persevered through, had some highs, had some lows, as I explained. Still have some lows sometimes, not necessarily financially, because we've got ourselves to a good position generally. But it's still a struggle sometimes. It's not easy. It's a real business, and that's the first point that I would make about this. It's a real business. So yeah. But anyway, what is Amazon FBA? So Amazon FBA is it's tricky because some people think of Amazon FBA as sort of arbitrage, where you're sort of buying things at a lower price and selling them at higher things. Some people think of Amazon FBA as just private label, when really it's not any of them things. Amazon and FBA is a selling platform, obviously, that offers prime delivery to its customers, which is fulfilled by Amazon, and that's what it is. So Amazon FBA can be online arbitrage, which is where you're buying things at a low price, selling them for more. Online arbitrage can also, sorry, online arbitrage. Amazon FBA, I've really confused you there. Amazon FBA can also be wholesale, for example. So you're building contacts with wholesalers or brands, and then you're selling the products, exclusively or non-exclusively. This can work in the UK, the USA, Canada, any countries that you want. You don't have to live in that country to sell in them. You can just do it in the UK. You can do it in the US. You can live in Canada. You can set up companies in them countries, for example. Or you can do private label, where you build contacts in. A lot of people go to China and stuff like that, or you can create products in the UK and then send them to the fulfillment centres. Some other things you can do is build proper brands. So when some people think of me as an Amazon seller, when I'm not really just an Amazon seller, because I'm currently building a brand that will soon be pretty big in its own right, on its own website, and building brand. I think of myself as building brands, not just an Amazon seller. But I don't care for labels. But so Amazon FBA is not a specific selling model. Amazon FBA, just so you know, if you don't know what it is, Amazon FBA is actually it's a courier service and service that Amazon offer. Okay, just to make that clear. And there's loads of models, things that you can do under that as well. You can also do different kinds of private label stuff. It doesn't have to be so scary, if you like. You can start with just a few £100s, building some sort of small brand. You can even make stuff. You can hand make stuff yourself and sell them on Amazon. You don't have to do private label in such a big way, spending tens of thousands of pounds, which I certainly wouldn't recommend if you were just getting started personally, because I didn't. If I spend tens of thousands of pounds on private label when I started out, I probably wouldn't. I probably would have given up, because I know I would have got it wrong. Now I'd be pretty good at it because I know what I'm doing. So some things just take time. Anyway, that's what Amazon is. How can you make money from it? How can you make money from Amazon? Now, as I say, I've just gone over a few models, so let me go a bit more in detail about the models and how you can make money from them, and what the market's like, really, what the market's like for them specific models, because some have higher competition, because they're lower barrier to entry. Some have low competition, but they're higher barrier to entry. That could be financial. That could be a financial barrier in the way, or it could be a knowledge barrier in the way. It could be a prep barrier in the way, so it might be really tricky to prep these items. They might be expensive to ship in. There's loads of different ways, so let me just explain a few different models. So let's start out with one of the most basic, which is online arbitrage. Now, online arbitrage is generally what you're doing is you're using software, or you're doing it manually, or you're getting virtual assistants to do it for you. I've got a couple of virtual assistants myself. One of them does this for me. The other one looks after my private label type stuff. So I'll go into that in a minute, but I do a private private label type thing, and I also do online arbitrage, but I sell in different countries, which eventually obviously you can do. You've got to find the model that's right for you, but let me start with the basic, as I was saying. So the basic is online arbitrage. This is where most people start. This is where I started. I still do this in the USA, not in the UK. Now, what this does is you're looking for softwares, you're using deal services, or you're using VAs. Generally, you want to be using your own VAs to get these deals, so you can get them all the deals that aren't so saturated and stuff like that. Otherwise, you get a lot of competition if you use deal sheets and stuff like that generally, and then the price tanks dramatically. But what you're doing basically is you're scouring these stores. It could be H&M, could be B&M, it could be the Range Plus, it could be Superdrug, it could be any of these, Sainsbury's. What you're doing is you're looking for sale items generally with online arbitrage. Most of the time, and then you're looking to sell them at a higher price on Amazon. This is the theory. Obviously, there's a few things in between, and then you're sending them to the FBA, Amazon FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, and then they will send it to your customers and do all the customer service, and you'll take that little bit of profit in between. So kind of like drop shipping, but not as such, because you're actually handling the products. I've done drop shipping years ago, and it's a lot more stable than drop shipping, I can assure you that. And then also similar to that, but not so similar, is retail arbitrage. So you're going around shops and actually physically going around shops yourself. You're driving around, you're getting these products, you're picking them up, you're packing them, you're shipping them with the labels on them to the fulfillment centres, and then once again you're taking the profit in between. Now, with these two models, online arbitrage is an easier barrier to entry. Anyone can figure out how to do this and then order these products online. So obviously it can get saturated. Particular products can get saturated. Generally the market in the UK is pretty saturated, but there's still people that make good money from it, and they just do a volume game. They send in thousands of items. I'm not here to sell you anything, so I don't have to sort of bullshit you. It is quite saturated in the UK, but if you're willing to do the volume game, then you can make money. Similar with wholesale, which I'll go into in a minute. Once you sort of find your flow, though, and I'm going off topic a bit here. Once you do this for a few years, it's good to start with online arbitrage. I never used to think it probably was, because it's a little bit saturated, or fairly saturated in the UK. That is, not necessarily the US or other countries like Canada. I don't know about them. Once you find your flow with online arbitrage, then it sort of opens the doors to other stuff. Some people stick with it, but some people start finding their niche in maybe different ways of selling, or with online arbitrage, but they found their way of doing it. So anyway, I'll leave that up to you. There's certain things that you only know once you've been doing a certain thing for a few years. So yeah, online arbitrage, similar to that, as I say, retail arbitrage. Online arbitrage is more saturated, retail arbitrage less saturated at certain times of the year, unless it's sort of peak seasonal times when everyone's getting the same stuff, like swimming pools and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of people buying them, 40, 50 of them people will pop on your listings. But generally retail arbitrage, I find, is less barrier to entry. I don't do it necessarily. I've done it a little bit, dabbled in it, nowhere near. I know someone that has done over a million in, I think, in the last 12 months. I'm not sure. Good friend Matthew Wright, that is. I think that was in the last 12 months. He's done over 1 million. So look, less barrier to entry. You can go down your local shops, or you can drive around the whole country like he does, and then you can find these good deals, and then you can send them into Amazon. So you could also do wholesale, which is, a lot of people progress from online arbitrage to wholesale. Once again, small margins generally on the wholesale side of things, but it's a volume game. And there's people that have got warehouses, even if they're doing 10% margin, 5% margin, I've heard, but they're doing volume, millions. And with all of this, you can collect cash back generally, online arbitrage, not so much wholesale, but you can get sort of reward points from Amex and stuff like that. You're collecting rewards, whether it's online arbitrage, you're collecting cash back, which can amount to thousands if you're doing a volume game, or you're doing Amex, where you can actually accumulate a lot with doing wholesale as well, no doubt. Once again, not something I do as an exact model, although I do have a lot of wholesalers that we buy from doing something else. So yeah, that's another way you can do it. You can do wholesale, and also similar to that, you can do brand deals. So a lot of the huge sellers, big sellers that I know, they do brand deals. So they've got exclusive rights to sell products on Amazon. Now this is probably one of the sort of private labels thought of as like the holy grail, but I reckon this is quite close to it. If you can get brand deals, open up big accounts, and you're the only one that's allowed to sell them particular products, yeah, you could do pretty well. You know what I mean? You could do pretty well, especially if it's a well-known brand. Even if you're getting £1 a sale, if you're shifting 10,000 a month, you can work that out for yourself. Yeah, so that's another thing you can do. And then you can do the private label type stuff. Now, the private label stuff is like a whole umbrella of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can, as I say, you can do handmade stuff if you like. Build you can build relationships with brands or companies in the UK. And you could send stuff in, with your own logo on it, or you can import from China, or you don't have to import from China. Or you can create your own brands, like private label, and then put your own products together. You can work with wholesalers and put your own groups of products together. Do you know what I mean? In the UK, I do that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That's my sort of. Oh, you have to ignore that. I just had my battery just came up saying it was low. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing that I like to do in the UK, and then I do online arbitrage in the US. Um, it's an umbrella of stuff, but honestly, you sort of have to get started and get yourself started, get yourself selling a few products, and then this stuff you start to realise, you start to find your flow. This is just not advice, nothing this financial advice, but this is just what I did. I found my flow when I just stuck to it, and it's amazing when you stick to something, for years, months and months and months and years. I'm almost 3 years in. Do you know what I mean? Like, then things just become more clear, and you build the confidence, and you build the contacts, and you build the methods and the models that work for you, and then you just get into your flow. So there's loads of things that you can do. That's the different ways that you can make money from it. There's loads of other ways, I'm sure, not even to mention people that I don't personally do this, but I'm not saying I wouldn't in the future, offer some sort of service or software or something like that. There's ways that you can make money with that sort of stuff as well. So loads of ways you can make money with Amazon. As I say, not financial advice, but just something I wanted to touch on because I think a lot of people might find this valuable. Sorry if I was mumbling a bit or rabbling a bit, but I think sometimes you just need like an honest, raw video like this just to really connect with people. So cool. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, as it helps, and I will see you in the next video.